The morning came quietly in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. Cold air carried through the trees like a warning. It was early still, too early for the world to be awake. But the officers were already out, their boots scraping against the damp pavement, the blue lights of unmarked cars flickering through the quiet. They had been waiting for this moment for days, months. It had taken longer than they thought, but it was time. Bryan Kohberger's arrest was the next chapter in a case that had stretched across state lines, through DNA matches, through cell phone records, through surveillance footage. Now it would culminate in a small house tucked away in the woods. There was no surprise in Kohberger's eyes when the door opened. He knew they were coming. He had always known the end would come one day. But in that moment he stood still, calm. He didn't flinch when the officers entered. He didn't argue when they told him to step outside. It was the middle of the night, the sky still dark with the weight of waiting. The world outside his house had no idea what was about to happen. But inside it was quiet, except for the sound of his voice answering their questions without hesitation. He didn't scream. He didn't beg. He simply followed their instructions as they placed the handcuffs around his wrists. By the time they led him to the car, the news had already reached Moscow. The confirmation had come through. Bryan Kohberger had been taken into custody. The long wait was over. The killer who had walked among them for so long was finally in the hands of the law. But there was something unsettling about the arrest. The way he moved so calmly. The way he seemed almost detached from the reality of what had just happened, as if the weight of the moment hadn't fully reached him yet. The officers didn't say much as they loaded him into the car. They didn't need to. Everything had already been said in the silence between the actions. The arrest wasn't just a physical moment. It was the final act of a play that had been building for months. They took him back to the station, where the questions would start again, where his silence would fill the room. There were no words, no confession, just the soft click of a door closing behind him. Outside the station, the town had already begun to gather. It was still early, but people were standing in clusters outside the small brick building. Mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, friends who had been there from the beginning, waiting for news. They would not get it that morning. Not the way they wanted to, not the way they had hoped. Instead, they would wait in their cars, hoping for an answer, hoping for something that could ease the ache that had lasted for months. The arrest was a moment, a finality in the case, but it was not the end. The trial was yet to come. The pieces were still falling into place. And for Kohberger, this was just the beginning of a long road ahead. A road that would stretch across courtrooms and media coverage. A road that would define him forever.